Let's talk about work, because we are smack in the middle of a massive shift in how we do it. And this whole hybrid model thing, it's not just about where our desk is. It's completely rewriting the rulebook for human resources. So let's get into what that really means.
You know, if your work life has felt a bit off-kilter recently, maybe the office is a ghost town, your meetings are a weird mix of people in a room and faces on a screen, or company policies seem to change every other week, you are definitely not imagining things. This is happening everywhere, and it's pushing HR to evolve faster than ever.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll start by looking at the old foundation, how HR used to work. Then we'll get into how the hybrid model basically shattered that. We'll also cover the other big trends hitting us all at once, explore the new tensions this is creating for leaders, and finally, sketch out what the new HR playbook is starting to look like.
All right, let's dive right in. See, to really get a handle on where we're going, you have to look at where we've been. For a long time, HR was built on a foundation that was, well, pretty stable and predictable.
HR has never existed in a vacuum, right? It's always reacting to what's called the external environment. Basically, all the stuff happening outside the company's walls that shapes its decisions. And for decades, these outside forces changed at a pace that was, actually manageable.
And these forces, they created a sense of stability. Economic ups and downs were kind of cyclical. Laws would change, sure, but slowly. Technology got better, but it didn't completely flip the world upside down overnight. And HR built its entire rule book for this consistent, steady world.
But that stable world, it didn't just bend, it completely fractured. And the main reason was the sudden seismic shift to hybrid and remote work. And that brings us to the huge disruption we're all living through right now.
Just look at this number from an AT&T study. 81%. That is staggering. We're not talking about some passing fad here. We are talking about a permanent, fundamental change in how most companies are going to operate from now on. This isn't just a small tweak, it's a paradigm shift that has completely broken those old HR models built for everyone being in one place.
This quote from Mark Mortensen just perfectly captures the new challenge. It's become so much more human. The focus isn't on managing tasks in an office anymore. It's about fostering genuine connection and psychological safety when your team is spread out all over the place. Policies aren't enough. You have to truly understand what each employee is experiencing, no matter where they log in from.
But here's the thing. Hybrid work isn't happening in a bubble. It's actually hitting at the exact same time as a whole bunch of other massive trends that are also reshaping HR.
Think of it as a perfect storm. While HR was just trying to figure out the logistics of working from home, bam, generative AI explodes onto the scene. At the same time, the call for real, meaningful diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives gets louder than ever. And employee well-being, that's gone from a nice-to-have to an absolute must-have. It's a lot all at once.
And believe me, these trends have some serious power behind them. Take the DEI market. It's projected to be worth $15.4 billion. That shows you this isn't just talk. Companies are putting huge amounts of money into building more equitable workplaces. This has become a core business strategy. And then, of course, there's AI. It's not some futuristic concept anymore. It's a practical tool right now. By automating all the repetitive, boring stuff, AI is actually freeing up HR professionals to focus on the things humans are best at: strategy, culture, and navigating all those messy, complex human interactions. Okay, so we've got a fractured foundation in a tidal wave of new trends. What happens when you mix those together? You get a fascinating set of strategic tensions, these paradoxes that leaders now have to juggle every single day. The old either-or way of thinking just doesn't work anymore.
This right here is the first major dilemma. How can you possibly maintain a fair and consistent set of rules for everyone when the world is demanding that you constantly adapt and change? This leads us to a core tension between what we'll call fit and flexibility.
So the old goal was fit. You wanted to design this perfect, unchanging HR system that fit your business strategy like a glove. But today, the new goal is flexibility. You need to build a system that can bend and adapt to a constantly changing world without completely snapping. And that leads to another classic tension. For years, the debate was commitment versus control. Do you empower your employees with trust and autonomy, or do you monitor them with rules and supervision? Well, what's really fascinating is that new research shows the best performing companies, they don't choose. They somehow find a way to do both commitment and control at the same time.
And finally, there's this tension between the individual and the group.
How do you support each employee's unique skills and goals while also building a cohesive team? I mean, the goal isn't just to collect a bunch of all-stars. It's to create an environment where their combined talents create something bigger, something that gives the whole organization an edge.
So, all of this is leading to a fundamentally new way of looking at HR strategy. We're not just talking about a few new programs. We are talking about a completely different mindset.
You know, this timeline really shows how the whole field of strategic human resource management has always been changing. It started with big, conceptual ideas, then it moved into being all about data and studies, and now we're in a phase of actually questioning those very studies. This ability to constantly evolve is exactly what's needed today.
So, when you boil it all down, HR is transforming. It's moving away from being the department that just enforces a fixed set of rules. The new playbook is all about navigating paradoxes, embracing change, and building a resilient organization in a world that, let's face it, is never going to stand still again.
And that brings us to a final thought. With the ground constantly shifting under our feet, maybe the most dangerous thing any company can do is cling to the playbook that was written for a world that doesn't even exist anymore. The real challenge now isn't about perfecting the old system. It's about having the guts to build a new one.